Imagine finding treasure in a place where no one thought to look. That's exactly what happened in Burkina Faso, a country in West Africa, where Russia just discovered one of the biggest oil reserves in recent history. How did they find it? Why didn't anyone else look there before? And what does this mean for Africa's future? Let's break down this amazing story. Picture the Sahel region of Africa, a hot, dry place where the ground cracks under the burning sun. This is Burkina Faso, a country known more for growing cotton than striking oil. But in early 2025, Russian oil company Gazprom found something incredible: 50 billion barrels of oil hidden deep underground. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an update on global trends that shape our future. For years, big oil companies like ExxonMobil, Shell, and Total ignored Burkina Faso. They thought it was too risky, too far from the ocean, and probably didn't have any oil anyway. They were busy drilling in places like Nigeria and Angola where they knew oil existed. But they were wrong about Burkina Faso. Very wrong. The story starts in Moscow, not Africa. When Western countries put sanctions on Russia, Russian leaders had to get creative. Instead of sending tanks into Africa, they sent something else: engineers, scientists, and oil experts. For Russia, Burkina Faso was perfect. It was already moving away from Western influence and looking for new friends. In 2023, Russian scientists began studying northern Burkina Faso using advanced technology that could see deep underground. Where Western companies saw nothing but desert, Russian experts found signs of oil. They worked quietly without making announcements or drawing attention. Then in early 2025, they struck gold. Black gold. The oil they found isn't just any oil, it's light and sweet crude oil, the kind that's easy to turn into gasoline and sells for high prices. But how did it get there? Scientists think that millions of years ago, this part of Africa was covered by an ancient sea. When tiny sea creatures died, they sank to the bottom and were buried under layers of sand and mud. Over time, heat and pressure turned them into oil. This story isn't just about finding oil, it's about changing power in Africa. For a long time, Burkina Faso was closely tied to France, its former colonial ruler. French companies ran businesses there, French soldiers were stationed there, and French officials had lots of influence. But things changed in 2022 when Captain Ibrahim Traoré took control of the country. He didn't want France telling Burkina Faso what to do anymore. He kicked out French troops, closed French media outlets, and even sent the French ambassador home. Then he opened the door to Russia. Russia moved carefully but quickly. They reopened their embassy, sent military trainers, and started teaching Russian in military schools. Unlike France, which wanted Burkina Faso to follow certain rules about democracy and corruption, Russia didn't make demands. They just offered help and respect for Burkina Faso's choices. The big plans. Now, Burkina Faso isn't just planning to pump oil and sell it, they want to use it to transform their country. They're looking at places like Dubai and the United Arab Emirates, which used oil money to build a modern city with tall buildings and business centers. The government plans to build 3 major industrial areas connecting to neighboring countries, create new cities with modern housing and schools, set up factories and refineries to process the oil themselves, build roads and railways to transport goods, start new businesses in technology and farming. They're doing something different from other African countries with oil. Instead of just taking royalty payments from foreign companies, Burkina Faso will partly own the oil facilities themselves. They want to process the oil at home and sell finished products like gasoline and diesel fuel. Burkina Faso's leaders promise this won't be like other African oil stories, where the money disappears into private bank accounts. They're setting up digital systems to track every dollar from the oil. Citizens will be able to see online how the money is being spent, which communities are getting new schools, roads, or hospitals. The government is also starting a development bank to help local businesses grow. They want young people to build their futures at home instead of leaving the country. They've even started a food processing project that's already selling rice to neighboring countries. For many years, Burkina Faso was stuck in a cycle of dependency. Foreign aid came with strings attached, and international loans kept the country in debt. Now, with this oil discovery, they see a chance to break free. President Traoré isn't asking the International Monetary Fund, IMF, for help anymore. He's telling his people, we can build our own future with our own resources. This isn't just about money, it's about dignity and independence. Why did Burkina Faso choose Russia as a partner? The answer is simple: mutual benefit. Russia needed new friends and new places to do business because Western sanctions cut them off from many markets. Burkina Faso needed a powerful ally who wouldn't try to control them like France did. Russia brought what Burkina Faso needed: technology to find and extract oil, military support against terrorist threats, no political demands about how to run the country, respect for Burkina Faso's choices. Many people in Burkina Faso, especially in cities, were tired of French influence long before the government kicked France out. They saw how French military operations didn't stop terrorism from getting worse. They watched their resources leave the country while poverty stayed behind. When Russia came with a different approach, many welcomed it. The oil discovery made people even more confident about the change. Now they're hearing about plans for new cities, better jobs, and modern infrastructure, things that seemed impossible before. Security remains a primary concern. The country must protect its oil facilities from terrorist threats while maintaining stability in a region known for conflict. This requires not just military strength, but smart security planning and regional cooperation. Infrastructure development presents another major hurdle. Building oil refineries and pipelines in a landlocked country demands massive investment and technical expertise. The nation needs to train thousands of workers in new skills, from oil extraction to industrial operations. The environmental impact of oil production can't be ignored. The government must balance development with protecting the land and water resources that local communities depend on. This means implementing strict environmental standards and monitoring systems. International relations and political pressure. Burkina Faso's partnership with Russia has created tension with Western nations. Former colonial power France and its allies are concerned about losing influence in the region. However, the government maintains that it has the right to choose its own partners and development path. The country faces pressure to follow traditional development models pushed by international organizations. But leadership is determined to create its own approach, one that puts national interests first and ensures resources benefit local people. Unlike other African oil producers, Burkina Faso isn't just focusing on exporting crude oil. The government plans to build a complete energy industry, including modern refineries to process oil locally, pipeline networks connecting to neighboring countries, industrial zones powered by both oil and renewable energy, training centers to develop local expertise. This approach aims to create more jobs and keep more wealth within the country. It's a break from the usual pattern where African nations simply export raw materials. The government sees education as crucial to their plan. They're investing in technical training programs, university partnerships, research facilities, technology innovation centers. The goal is to build a skilled workforce that can run complex industries and develop new technologies. This focus on human development shows they're thinking beyond just oil revenue. Burkina Faso aims to become a regional economic power. Their plans include creating trade networks with neighboring countries, building modern transportation systems, establishing financial services centers, developing industrial parks. These initiatives could transform the country from a landlocked nation to a central hub for West African trade and development. The government faces the challenge of managing public hopes while delivering real results. They're trying to communicate realistic timelines for development, show visible progress in living standards, maintain transparency in how oil money is spent, ensure benefits reach all parts of society. Burkina Faso's leaders have studied other African oil producers and want to avoid common problems like corruption and mismanagement, overdependence on oil revenue, neglect of other economic sectors, environmental damage. The country's vision extends beyond oil. Leaders see petroleum wealth as a tool to build a diverse modern economy, strong educational institutions, advanced healthcare systems, sustainable energy networks. This comprehensive approach shows they're planning for the long term, not just immediate gains from oil sales. Burkina Faso stands at a crossroads. The oil discovery provides an opportunity to transform the nation, but success depends on careful planning and strong leadership. While challenges are significant, the government's determination to chart its own course and focus on long-term development suggests a different path from traditional resource-rich nations. This is more than an oil story. It's about a country trying to rewrite its future. After years of being told what they couldn't do, Burkina Faso's leaders are showing what they can do. They're not just pumping oil, they're pumping hope into their institutions, investment into their industries, and pride into their people. The stakes are huge. If they succeed, they'll prove that an African nation can use its resources to build real independence and prosperity. If they fail, critics will say it's another example of why Western oversight is necessary. But right now in Burkina Faso, people are dreaming bigger than ever before. They're not asking for handouts or following someone else's rules. They're building something new, a future where they control their own resources and decide their own destiny. The world is watching. Will Burkina Faso become a new model of African development? Can they turn oil wealth into lasting prosperity? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear: they're determined to try, and they're doing it their way. This discovery isn't just changing Burkina Faso, it's challenging how we think about development, partnership, and power in Africa. It's a story still being written, and its ending could reshape the future of an entire continent. Thanks for watching till the end. If enjoyed this video, please leave a like as well as sub so more people can see this.